Hi jewelers, diamond traders, colorstone traders, as well as those who are doing gemology courses as well as the diamond grading. Let me welcome you all to my YouTube channel यूनिवर्सल जेम्स एंड डायमंड्स एक्सपर्ट्स. मैं हूं आपका जेम एक्सपर्ट एंड आज today's topic is going to be diamonds. Now before I start this topic, let me tell you all that we are a professional institute in Zaveri Bazaar, Mumbai, and we conduct courses on diamond grading, identification and valuation, as well as color stones identification, that is called gemology courses. We also give reports on diamond jewelry, loose diamonds, as well as in color stones. So you can definitely take our services as a professional institute. Now coming back to the today's topic, we call it a diamond types or the classification of diamonds. Now this is a very important topic, especially for those who have done diamond grading courses, or those who are doing right now the diamond grading courses, or even those who are working in the gem testing labs. Now the question is, what is the meaning of diamond classification, or what we specially call it a diamond type classification? Now in fact, if you see in any major lab, whenever the diamonds, especially the solitaires, when they go for certification or for making the reports, they try to understand what is the type of this diamond. They try to classify the diamond into types. Now what are these types basically? Now if you see the front page of this video, I have given a classification of diamonds into different types. Now the question is, how these types are divided. The diamonds are divided into their different types on the basis of what is the impurity that is present in a diamond, whether it is present as individual atoms or whether it is present as an aggregates. Now you all know by now that the diamond is nothing but a pure form of carbon, where the carbons are closely packed, and that is the reason why the diamonds are so hard. Now in nature, what happens that some of these carbon atoms can be replaced, especially by nitrogen or sometimes even by boron. Now depending upon how they replace, let us say for example, basically diamonds are divided into two types, that is type 1 and type 2. Now coming to the type 1, if you realize on my front page, I have divided the diamond type 1 into type 1A and 1B. So let me start from the type 1B. What are these type 1B diamonds? Now when individual carbon atoms are replaced by individual nitrogen atoms, then it is called type 1B. Now this single replacement of nitrogen by carbon can cause a good absorption in diamond in a visible area, and that is the reason that these diamonds are mostly in yellow color, or sometimes they are as beautiful as in canary color also. But what happens, you will realize that hardly any diamonds, maybe not even 1% of the diamonds, belongs to this particular category called type 1B. What happens in nature, the formation of diamond takes millions of years. Now during these millions of years, they are getting acted upon by temperature and pressure, because if you see the normal diamonds what we are buying, they generally are formed at the great depth, about 150 kilometers, 120 to 150 kilometers below the Earth's surface, where temperature and pressures are pretty high. And if for such a long period of time, for millions of years or billions of years, if these diamonds are facing these temperature and pressure conditions, there is all possibility that more and more nitrogens can start replacing carbon atoms. So where in type 1b there were individual nitrogen atoms replacing individual carbon atoms, now there is all possibility as the time progresses, the nitrogen becomes, individual nitrogens becomes aggregate. Like say for example, if two nitrogens are coming together and replacing carbon atoms, it is called a type 1a category, or we call them A centers. In fact, the type 1b categories, we call them C centers. So now we are jumping from C to A center, where two nitrogen atoms are replacing two carbon atoms. The nitrogens are next to each other. But as the time progresses, more and more nitrogen starts coming in, bigger and bigger nitrogen aggregates are replacing carbon atoms. Now, after some time, instead of a 2, you may have 4 nitrogen atoms replacing 4 carbon atoms. But in this case, what happens? It would be a 4 nitrogen atoms which are covering a vacancy. That means in 4 different directions, north, south, east, west, you have nitrogen, and in between we have nothing, and that is why it is called vacancy. That means in between 4 nitrogen there is no carbon or no other element, there is a vacancy, and this is called N4 category, or it is also known as type 1AB category, or we are calling it B centers. So we have A centers and B centers in type 1A, and we have C center in type 1B. Now, as long as the diamonds have A centers and B centers defect in diamond language or at a lab level, we call them a defects. Of course, you cannot see them at all. They are all at atomic structural level defects. Now, as far as the diamond has A centers or B centers, they are generally colorless because there is a balance of absorption, and that's why the balanced color that we can see is a colorless or near colorless. But while it is jumping from N2 to N4 configuration, in between comes a transition state where 3 nitrogen atoms are surrounded one vacancy. So one vacancy is getting surrounded by 3 nitrogen atoms, and this is what we call N3 defect. And generally diamonds with the N3 defect in type 1 generally has a light yellow color, or what we call them in the market Cape series diamonds. So the Cape series diamonds generally has N3 defect. Now, going to the next category, that is type 2. In fact, type 2 is a category where there is hardly any nitrogen. Practically there is no nitrogen present. Now type 2 are divided into type 2A and 2B. In fact, type 2A are considered as chemically pure diamonds. That means practically it doesn't have any impurity. So there is hardly any nitrogen, or there is no nitrogen, and they are considered as chemically pure, and mostly they come as colorless. Of course, there can be sometimes pink or blue also, but mostly they are colorless. In fact, the synthetic diamonds which are grown as colorless, they are mostly in this category, that is type 2A. So if you are getting a diamond into 2A category, first thing you should check, is it a synthetic, especially HPHT or even a CVD diamond. And then we have a second category in type 2, that is a type 2b category, where instead of nitrogen, now the boron is replacing the carbon atom. Now in earth crust or in mantle, the boron is a rare element, as it is also boron is a rare element, so rarely it replaces the nitrogen, and rarely we have blue colors in diamonds. Especially the dark blues are very highly prized. Like we have a Blue Hope diamond. In fact, it was from India, and it is considered as a largest and darkest blue diamond, which is more than 50 carat. And you can imagine what price it has, a historical price plus the blue color the price. So this is how the diamonds can be scientifically divided on the basis of what impurities is it has, in what form, whether it is a single impurities or whether it is a aggregate impurities. And these impurities can further get complicated, and we can have a different defects in the diamond giving different colors to the diamond. And that is why at the same time these types are also related to the colors of the diamonds. These types are also related to the synthetic diamond types. At the same time, these types also should be known, those who are treating the diamond, whether they will get desired results after giving a particular treatment, or for a particular type you have to give a particular treatment only, then only you will get a desired results in diamond. And that is the reason one must know what is the type of diamond when they are checking the diamonds in the labs, especially for treatment, and whether it is a synthetic or a natural. I hope this small presentation on types of diamonds was very clear to you guys. Do prescribe to my YouTube channel. We will come out with such knowledge sessions for traders as well as for those who are aspiring this field. Thank you very much.